Hello everyone, and welcome to another Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds Clone Campaign's recorded game session. So, this should be episode 3. Bit of a new microphone here, just to sort of limit the sort of, gets like the background noises, myself breathing in between, speaking, because that can get a little bit distracting, at least for myself. That's my perspective on it. So in this game, it's going to be on Desert. So 3v3. Between myself, Kickstart, Jim Bob Sif versus RVA, Rob the Beast, and Unholy. So, absolutely immediately there, we can see that there's a Dewback and 2 Banthas, so we're going to eat that. Decent amount of early food, won't have to farm or anything like that. I'm going to take the Fog of War off now. And we'll have a look at the sort of the layout of the map here for everyone. So some players are eating the Banthas there immediately. Some of us enlightened few on the Dewbacks almost immediately, because the Dewback gather rate is just a little bit faster to get that additional food out. It seems that there is actually Rontos as well. Quite a lot of EOPs. Nice amount of food in this game. So what that typically does mean is that we will, tech up a lot quicker. A lot quicker to T3. Maybe not want to rush as much there. There was good potential, I think, for some players maybe to get an animal nursery here because of all the surplus food. You don't necessarily need to eat those banthas, and then you could enjoy those benefits, long term. But nothing really wrong with eating them either because they're such a low amount, right? That long term investment, it wouldn't really pay off till later, and you wouldn't see a huge amount of it out of it. So you can see getting onto the carbon now as we're getting onto that food. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit just to make it through that early game because we've seen it all before. There's not really a lot to talk about in there. As we can see, we've got Jim Bob on the farms, probably a bit too early considering he must already have a food processor somewhere. Right there. Not sure what he's, just a bit of a waste of carbon here, and then he's eating these as well. Strange build. Definitely not optimal. Please don't copy that. Best thing to do, as me, Kick, and a few other players are doing here, is just eating these Rontos. Getting as much food with as least workers and invested in that as possible. And that's what you get out of the hunted animals there. So Unholy eating all his banthas, eating all his food. He's not really made a decision yet, but doesn't have a lot of workers on carbon, so he's kind of really behind in his tech there. It's just a bit too much on food early. Whereas we've already got carbon processor, we're building up that surplus carbon, right? Rob as well, doing the same sort of thing there. Gek as well, he has a lot on carbon. Maybe a little bit too much there. He's getting a second carbon processor. So he'll probably have a very strong T2, but probably not the quickest tech time. So I think what we would want to do here, based on the teams and how these players' sort of strength level was, back in the period that this game was played, probably I think maybe back in 2013 or 14. Jim Bob is definitely a weaker player here, as you can judge by his sort of decision making. So we're probably going to want to have to T3 a bit earlier here, get our tech up so that we have all the sort of tools that we need to defend ourselves and play the game to our full potential there. Other players might try and rush us. I don't know if Unholy would really want to rush me. Usually because I tend to react quite well to these things, and it's normally better to just T3 yourself, because I will punish you if you rush, you don't kill me, and I go T3, right? As you can see, he's getting his power core a bit early here as well, rather than getting his tech buildings. We've got RVA, he looks like he's going to be trooping Kickstart here, and Kick's going to be trooping him back, so getting his troop centres before power core. A lot of strange decisions in this I don't necessarily agree with. Usually ends up all the same though. I guess I'm just a bit of a min-maxer with the way that I approach the game. So we've got our farms up, we're almost T2, we're on the Nova, we're definitely going to be going T3 here. And, I scout my opponent and I can see that he's on Nova, he's only got a power core, not really any threat, so I'll be looking to T3 myself. However, I think we probably needed a couple more farms here. I guess we've got the EOPs, it might work out here. just feel a little bit too low on the food, maybe 100, 150 to 200 food, a little bit too short for the kind of tech time that we would want here. As you can see, I'm adding on 2 more farms because it's probably just sort of reached me that I'm a little bit concerned about that. Just building workers though, while we build up that surplus and get the buildings built. As always, you need those 2 tech level 2 buildings to get up to T3. So these guys are building their troopers together. It looks like Kick's going to be on the offensive first though, and he's really going to catch RVA here because his troopers, one, are over here on this hill, and they're still trooper recruits, which are very slow. So Kick's going to get in here, pick off quite a few workers, but most importantly take him off of this food resource, and he's only got 2 farms to sustain himself, so he's going to have to add on those extra farms because this area is completely locked out to him. And this is a bit of a transitional time as well in the economy here. You know, there's barely enough food to do both things, to build troopers and build the workers here. He's going to fall behind a little bit. Probably should have invested in a turret at this point, being caught this much off guard. And he's losing a few more workers here. At least he has a very strong, you know, arc for his carbon. He's going to pick off a couple of these troopers and probably defend this well, but these workers need to get back to work. He needs to get that food coming back in. And while this is going on, it looks like Kick a little bit late to his transitioning into farms, but it looks like he's eaten all of his hunt there. So all these workers are going to be going over and building farms eventually, I guess, when he has the carbon for it. Because he's still, you know, throwing out troopers as much as possible. I think just because he sort of sees blood in the water here with how much he's caught RVA off guard. That's definitely good that these two have locked each other's down, and he's probably one of the better players on that team. But it's quite a strong team all round from them. You can see that I'm being rushed with 3 troop centres, a bit strange. Gonna get that building up. Definitely got no turrets or anything though, but it seems that these troopers are going over to my pocket rather than actually hitting me. It looks like he's coming back the way now. Maybe he wasn't too sure where I actually was. But I've hit T3 already, right? This power core is about to complete. We just need to weather the storm here, get a strike mech out, and we can defend this. Still a bit of skirmishing going over here, but not too much. So we'll just have to defend this. It looks like we're getting a fort out as well. So Confederacy, very strong with the Geonosian warriors that just basically one-shot units, especially and particularly workers. So he's probably going to have to get some anti-air troopers out here because his food production's really far behind. I don't know why he's had all these on Nova, you know, for a lot of time here. Building a grenadier, building a turret, he's very much focusing on just turtling and defending against me, rather than making very good decisions about his economy. So I've asked Kickstat to tell me where my opponent's carb is, basically, you know, where his workers are the most vulnerable, where they're furthest away from the command centre. I'm going to be sending a Geonosian warrior over there out of the fort, because that's going to do the most amount of damage there. And Kick, because his troopers have been pushed away, he's just wandered around and he's found Unholy's workers here that are just sitting idle, that have been eating the hunted resources there. So we're losing a couple of workers here just on the ore. Maybe more than a couple, maybe 3 or 4 there. Not good. We'll need to get some farms out. We'll need to get a new command centre as well. That's the Geonosian out though, and he can defend this really well because he just one-shots these troopers. Absolutely no chance. And we're starting to send the strike mechs across. Just to keep our opponents sort of defending there. And it looks like Romp the Beast is sort of caught up here. He is getting Geonosians out as well. He's got his fort up. And he's got an anti-air mobile just to defend himself. Because I think he must just be a little bit behind, you know, me in tech and stuff. And you know, he's worrying more about making sure he doesn't die first before he starts thinking about contributing units aggressively. So these Geonosians are coming out and they're basically punishing Unholy here for rushing and, you know, not doing enough damage and not being quick enough. I mean, running around here for a good bit of time, that's really held him back. It looks like he's just basically about to quit the game. I imagine his teammates are probably telling him, you know what, stay, I can save you. You know, it looks like RVA's really been caught off guard here as well with these troopers. A lot of damage going down. Struggle maybe to come back from that one. Definitely need Rob the Beast to just start helping his team here. He's sending the Geonosians out to do a bit of offensive damage to Kickstart. but it looks like RVA is very far behind here. He does at least have his troopers over here, so he has gotten quite a bit of damage done to kickstart. And he's definitely hiding in his command centres now. He's not really going to be able to defend this properly because the Geonosian, right, is going to kill his troopers that he would want to kill these with. And he's not really gaining resources anymore, so he's kind of stuck. I think I would definitely have to send units to go and help him there. Getting the command centres up, because when you are building workers and just sending out Geonosians, really, you tend to gather a lot of carbon. You do have a tendency to be on ore as well, so you can afford sort of command centres while that's going on, and use that to sort of just catch up in the game. Not too much happening over here. Unholy's just getting back in the game. It doesn't look like he's actually quit, even though you were saying GG earlier. Kick is a little bit better now. He got his workers back out. Definitely needs to recover, but I'd say him and about RVA are almost about even at the moment, except he's just got the higher trooper count there. These workers are completely caught off guard. That's a big hurt for him. Another Geonosian there. Gonna have to send it over. I don't have hollow net, but he's ran away from me, so I've got the first shot on him. It's going to take a while for these players to get everything back together. So we've got our command centres up. Definitely need to throw out more farms. Probably just a lot of heavy microing going on with the units there. I mean, with the Geonosians, you kind of smell blood in the water there, you know, because they kill workers so quickly. Get the players, you know, stuck in their command centres and that, they just really fall behind. Kick's probably going to take the strike mech down. Not the best defence there, needs a bit of micro. Don't think one's really enough. Anti-air troopers out and stuff to sort of defend, but definitely needs to get back in this. Seems that Unholy has effectively just resigned from this one. I thought this would be a bit more of a competitive game, I guess, like going a little bit late game in this one, but Geonosians, you know, they can really snowball if you catch people off guard. But it's good to at least be able to showcase, you know, how strong this unit can be and how to get the best use out of it. So harassing absolutely everything there. He's really struggling. Rob is at least keeping up in score there and worker count, so you know he could pull something out here. Because I mean, Kick is quite kind of hurting. Jim Bob's sort of in his own world, and I'm investing definitely a lot in this harassment with the Geonosians. So maybe if he got like an early forward, he caught me off guard or something like that, he could kill me and then, you know, worry about the rest of it. But I think he would have to keep RVA in the game. He needs to save his ally there. It's a little bit disappointing that Unholy basically just left his teammates when he's technically in a better spot than RVA is, but you know, that's how some people, you know, react in scenarios like this. It's definitely frustrating, right, when you're not being allowed to play the game the way that you would want to. So Jim Bob's sending a couple of mech destroyers over just to defend Kick there, help him stabilise a little bit. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it's just ever so slightly boring with the light harassment. The Geonosian's getting, they're actually quite tanky. I think they're about 3 tower hits from an anti-air turret, so you can definitely get quite a bit of damage done. Kick's rebel, so he's saying that he can get air speeders out, which are just really good against mech destroyers, mechs. Do quite decent against workers as well, and okay against other air, so a very strong, versatile unit. You can see we're just running around, clipping off workers everywhere. If we do that every now and again, it's actually really going to slow his worker production. And stop him, you know, being able to get that sort of critical mass to build the production that you would want and get the units out to maybe give them a chance of winning this game. Jim Bob contributing some units here. This is really frustrating for RVAs. He's just trying to get back in the game and you know, now another player's shown up with units that he's not really been dealing with before, so he doesn't have a proper counter for them either. Looks like he's going to lose his power core. Not really much you can get done there. I feel like at this point what we should really be doing, you know, rather than throwing down more command centers, maybe just getting a forward in. And just laying the pressure onto Rob now and sort of boxing him in his own world. Just to do some damage there. The pressure that you get with just having a fort on someone and, you know, slow pushing with like pummels or artillery is huge. It stops them being able to boom properly, spend the resources in the way that they would want to. It's just a lot of threat and a lot to worry about. And to be honest, the investment that it takes to remove a fort in tech level 3 is huge. Like, the best way to deal with a fort in T3 is to stop it going up in the first place. And if someone, you know, manages to put that down, like say somewhere here where your ore is, or your nova that you need to, you know, properly tech up and build the units that you would need to play the game properly, huge hindrance. So you can see Geo's coming out of Rob here. He's going to send these across the map, do a bit of harassment himself. Don't have any anti-air turrets, I'd have to use my own Geos to defend here. Could be wild. But it looks like he's going to go for Kick instead, who is probably at this point going to start building air, but not quite in time here. These Geos are going to get in and really cause some damage. You see, he has to ping it there to sort of request help. He's really losing a lot of workers. Advise Jim Bob to send some air to help him, but he's really just building an anti-air turret for himself. I can't really be coming over there with Geonosians to defend. Just worrying about defending myself here and getting some strike max out to go and do a bit more harassment. Keep RVA and keep Rob down. So though this didn't end up the most competitive game, with Unholy quitting a little bit prematurely there, we can see the ways that, you know, you ensure that you actually win a game like this and maintain your lead, and that's by just having constant pressure here and making sure that you're not vulnerable yourself. So as you can see, I've noted that he's very well prepared for air. You know, for the Geonosians that we were sending out earlier, but for strike mechs, he's not really that prepared. He's got some mech destroyers, sure, but they were all in one spot. We've picked off quite a few workers here, and we can just micro and just snipe workers as we go. A little bit of stutter there. Lost us 2 strike mechs more than we should have. But keeping on that pressure, he has to gather all those workers in as well. A little bit of a mistake hitting the big bell there. Harvey is really doing a great job just getting himself back together again. Definitely, I don't think he's T3 yet, no. He needs to get to T3 and just get some more command centers, but here comes Jim Bob. Just being a bit more annoying, laying that pressure on. Kick's definitely stabilised, got another command center, got his forts and everything. He's getting his tech up. Rob's still booming here. Decent sort of turtlish defense. But it looks like we are sending a lot of units over. We've been building mech destroyers now, after sending the strike mechs out and seeing how many he's made. So we've pushed him into that kind of tech, and if we can just get in, kill the mech destroyers, we can kill them, right? So we're going to look to maybe build a forward, and here's that fort that we were talking about earlier. We've sent all our units there to defend, even the Geos, just in case, you know, he saw it and sent some Geos over to kill the workers. That way we can defend it. And we've got a much bigger standing army than him, just because we've not been not had our workers gathering into command centers or anything like that. They've been very well just gathering resources, so we've built up a surplus of units, and we're going to use that to just defend this position and, you know, just put him on a timer here that he needs to break this position before we're just going to roll in and kill him. And he can't get into the center of the map and, you know, grab any of these sort of resources here either. So artillery going to start to be built there. We're going to build a shield and just sort of slow push towards him and use the shield, the artillery to just kill his buildings ever so slowly. He's going to build a shield himself just to defend this. Kick is just killing whatever he here. What a bit of a trooper he is being though, by just not quitting, just staying in the game. You know, he seems to believe in it, his teammate Rob there, that he's going to get something done, but I think if this air, all these speeders come over and they get on top of his mechs, that's just going to be it. Like, this combined push will just outright kill him. It's not even going to feel fair if they show up because they kill mech that quickly. Makes rebels feel like an overpowered civilization in team games, to be honest, just because of the synergy of having these units with pushes like this. So as the artillery builds up, we'll start to push in and be able to clip the generator here. As you can see, we're just rallying everything, building more production as we go, and just having that cool sort of T3 push as we get on our way to T4. We've got quite a lot of artillery out now. That AoE damage is going to be huge against these bunched up units. He's got heavy mech destroyers, but when Kick brings his stuff over, it's not going to matter too much. He doesn't have a means to kill artillery either. Get a cannon out as well, probably. We're upgrading the geos, cool. We've built a lot of geos. It's definitely a fortress unit spectacular here. I'd say this is a bit of light trolling, really. But they'll go in and they'll kill stuff. Kill the workers and run away. I dread to think what they would be like if Confederacy were allowed shields on their air. As you can see, we're just pushing in there with the units, just slowly killing them. At this point, there's not really much they can do with RVA still repairing his command center. He does not want to get out of this game. Jim Bob building a fort and bombing his command center there. So we've got a cannon out there, got the artillery moving forward. They've been upgraded now and they're going to do huge amounts of damage. And this cannon's very quickly going to kill this shield generator. There comes the air again. That'll be the end of it. Oh, it's shielded now as well. GG. Right, let's get into the next game that I had planned. No point waiting around that. We knew how that one was going for a long time. This is myself, RVA, let's do Unholy, Kick, and Cal. Right, so we've got myself here, we have RVA, and we have whoever the hell that is, SilentLucidity, versus Cal, Unholy, and Kick. So, as we can see, there's some banthas, ton of fish on this one. Definitely want to be fit. Oh my god, a lot of Rontos, 6 Rontos. That's a huge amount of early food. Could be very quick tech times on this one. Been a while since I've seen a game where there's been like no food, a good old fashioned farm off. Those are the slow roll ones. So we'll want to be eating all these. Could potentially house these if we find some more. Sort of rule is if you find 4 banthas or more, you can house them. But doesn't look like that. There's much of that. It's just shoreline, is it? It is. So I've got Cal here. He's eating both his banthas and now he's on the Ronto. He's already on his carbon. I'm on my carbon now. Definitely got a lot of food, a lot of workers. I'll just want to see this through and see how this game develops. I think that a lot of people probably want to fish here. I don't know what's happened to Kick. He's not found his Rontos, I guess, because he's on the shore fish. That is a bit of a tilter. He's probably just going to rage build a food processor here, I think. Yeah. Eat the banthas, eat the Ronto here. Definitely want to fish, I would have thought, but I don't know when. Maybe fit that into this, because not really going to have the surplus carbon for it, I don't think. Because what we'll see very soon is that food just come out of nowhere and jump up to about 300. Could get a very early T2. I need to lure more of these Rontos over. See, the workers are getting stuck. They need more Ronto meat. It's the only thing that sustains the Geonosians. Cal's got his power core. He's going for troop center, so I guess he's rushing. And I'm going to rush as well. Rare. So we'll see how that goes. Looks like RV is going to fish. It's good to see someone fishing because of all this crazy ass. And SilentLucidity as well. He's on the fish. No idea who this is. I don't even remember this name. A bit of a nutter, like. Definitely got decent enough mechanics, so he's somebody. Getting on these EOPs, and I'm going to start building troopers very soon now. There's the first one out. I think we're ahead of Cal here. He's only got one troop center out so far. Ours is just about, our second one's just about to come up, so we're a little bit ahead of him. He's got a very, very good defensive arc there, though. We need to get around at that point. He's got his troopers onto me. These should upgrade very soon. He's just lost 3 of them for one of my workers. Don't know if that's really worth it this early on in a troop war, because numbers mean everything, but it looks like we're really just building up a surplus before we're going to attack him there. Maybe being a bit overly defensive. He's got about the same amount. He's throwing down some extra farms though. We're still not on the farms, probably because we've got these EOPs to eat. And still quite a lot of food banked up from eating all the Rontos. He's definitely not eating his EOPs. There's a bit of rushing going on over here as well. I'm going to turn the speed back down again. And we'll see how this goes, because there's going to be a lot to cover if there's 2 sides rushing, right? So I'm sending over my troops here. It looks like RVA is a way to catch Kit quite here. Get a bit of revenge for that last game. He's shooting these troopers. Oh no, they've bugged out. They took like an extra step forward. Getting on top of Cal here, just sniping his farms, which is always good when you can't properly get on top of someone. Leaving troopers at home to defend a bit. He's got his units stuck here. It seems like we've got double the amount of his units at the moment though. I guess he's got that early war center and getting the upgrades. Don't know if that's such a great idea just now. You probably want to get your economy a little bit more ramped up before you start throwing in the upgrades, because numbers are going to mean everything at this point. Because what I'll be able to do with extra troopers than him is have 2 groups of them and pick him apart. Oh, I've walked right into him here though. That's terrible. Oh, that's like 7 troopers, 8, you know, for free, 9, 10. At least it's pulling those units away though, so we can still get a bit of damage here done, but definitely a bad time when you walk into someone there. Bit of panic and lag as well, pulling them away. But we pick off a worker here, disrupt these farms once again, and we can still build these at home, because it's going to even out if he's pulling workers away. They're not gathering, it's disrupting his economy. And he's not put any turrets down. You know, he feels he can defend this comfortably with troopers, but you know that could be bad for him here. Don't know why these guys insist on walking right on top of their enemies, but there's another farm going down as well. A lot of damage being done. Looks like things are sort of evened out on these 2. They're both sort of fishing. Even the pockets are both fishing as well. All the action seems to be on this side during this trooper war between me and Cal here. He's actually technically imprisoned his workers here with the way that he's built this arc. Now they're stuck and they've nowhere to go. He's going to clean this up eventually, but look at how many workers he's losing right now. And to be honest, it's his own fault. Imprisoning his workers there, being too cocky to not put turrets down. And of course building that war center as well and getting early upgrades. And now our pocket sends over a strike mech, which is basically doing a bit of scouting for him because he's probably not got HoloNet, but it's applying a bit of extra pressure here on top of it as well. So we're getting a second carbon area, we've got a decent amount of farms, huge amount of troopers, and we're going to send, you know, little groups of them out, which technically are about the same size as his only group. So we'll keep picking him apart until he dies, or until his pocket stops me. Unholy, definitely got all these buildings and stuff, but no sort of power core there. Huge amount of trawlers though, a lot of fishing going on. It looks like Kick and RVA have just been trading units and stuff, but not a huge amount going on. They both look quite healthy to me, and they're both. In fact, RVA is the only one that's fishing. I thought Kick was fishing as well, but not so much. We're getting back in here again, doing a lot of damage, just picking him apart. He's not having a great time. And there goes Unholy, quite late to T3, probably because of this crazy amount of fishing that he's doing, but you know, he could end up quite strong there. RVA though, seems to have even more points than him. Looks like this one might be over quite quickly. Because it looks like Cal's absolutely dead there at this point. He's stuck hugging his command center. Our pocket started supporting RVA over here. No Kick was holding him okay. It's going to snowball out of control. And again, he's been very cocky as well, not built any turrets. I don't really think you've got much to lose in, you know, a long sustained trooper war like this, you know, building turrets. In a 1v1, I guess you get away with it. You know, if you're comfortable. Let's sort of save those resources for maybe building mech factories later, but I think it's an absolute must in situations like this, because you can't even garrison all these in the command center. There's only room for 15. At least you get the extra 10 to be garrisoned, 5 per turret. And they added defensive as well. So I think they really made a mistake there, not building turrets. And of course, Unholy teching so late here, not the best help for his team. Send out the strike mechs, they've definitely got upgrades and everything, but you know, it seems a little bit too late. He's helping Kick push this back a bit, but at the end of the day, RVA's still got all these trawlers bringing him extra food as well. You know, he doesn't really need a huge amount of farms. He's going to have a very good economy. And Cal being so weak here, we just sent more strike mechs in, and that's him dead. Not much he can get done. So we'd really have to set our sights on to Unholy now and making sure that he goes down. Definitely surprised with how quick players have been dying in these games back though. Again, I think it's just players have come along. Like some of these guys still play today. Much stronger players. And I think to be honest, it's really come down to just not having the proper macro decisions from them, especially early game, because they just have better tech times, and the quicker the tech times, the more workers they have. And the less likely they are to get themselves into these kind of situations. Like for Cal, this all started by being a bit late on his rush and throwing away some troopers, and then making the wrong decisions about his macro and building the right units. Like he shouldn't have gotten a war center. It's way too early for that. He doesn't have the resources for it. He should have maintained trooper production, and then he wouldn't have gotten picked apart. And he definitely should have got the turrets, and this whole arc that he's built here should have been here or here to stop me walking in and picking him apart at 2 angles. Kick as well, although he's still alive, but that's because Unholy's definitely helping him now. Unfortunately, Cal's not getting the same amount of help. He needs to get himself to T3 probably. In quite a shit area, to be honest. He'd need to expand towards his opponent, which is going to be difficult if you look at what's coming towards him now. Cool little trooper army there. Sort of Swiss army knife, all the different units, counter everything. And these, of course, have got 7 range on them as well, so they're going to be a force to be reckoned with here and probably just start sniping farms. And then with the strike mechs coming in from his pocket as well, they're just going to keep the pressure on Kick here, and he's not getting a chance to breathe in this game. Not getting a chance to get back into it at all. I love heavy troopers, such a cool unit. I feel like they should probably have more health or something like that. Make them a bit more worth it. I mean, they only get, what, 5 more health when you upgrade them. I don't even think that. I mean, is that an extra trooper shot? Or it's a little bit less. I've got some grenadiers and troopers as well, which is good. But we've got a turret here, which is just going to help chip these down. And remember, we have 2 carbon spots, so we're not in dire straits. Being told that there's no anti-air at all. Have we got a fort out? Yeah, we do. So the geos are coming out as well, just like last game. Losing a couple of troopers here. I don't know when I started fishing, but that's definitely worth it if you look at all the fish there. Cool bit of damage coming out of RV with this wee trooper army. Definitely like seeing stuff like this because it's not always commonly done. Especially nowadays, players just jump straight into the strike mechs and air. That's the sort of bread and butter of T3. And to be honest, it's probably the strongest stuff to do, but seeing stuff like this is great. Somewhat gimmicky, but it catches people off guard. You know, you think when you're a pocket, you know what, I'll just send some mech destroyers and that'll help my wing there. He'll be fine against strikes. But it's not strikes that start pushing him, it's these grenadiers and clunky slow units like mech destroyers. They punish and all that extra bonus damage. And he can just kite this army with good micro. Basically not lose a thing. And push on Cal and make sure he's dead. I think this is probably the longest I've seen Cal in a game when he's pretty much dead. Usually he would have quit when that strike mech showed up and said GG, doubled. So certainly impressive tenacity from him from once. Seems that he wasn't always such a hindrance to his teammates. This small army just doing so much bloody damage. Oh, it's another one. So he's split them up into 2 just to pick them apart. And then the air is going to come over here from Captain No AA, as he said earlier. I mean, that would make me quit, to be honest, if I was Kick. Yeah. Cal's calling it, Kick's calling it, and Unholy will unfortunately have to call it there as well, I think. So I've just gotten really out of control there on this side. And then you have this presence looming as well. Bad times, but yeah, pretty well played from our side there. Our pocket, really great guy. He's built strike mechs, he's built air. He's really helped the team there. He's just been very supportive. RV's done very well. You know, going to Kick there. As we sort of pointed out, the arrogance about not getting turrets. That's really what's fucked these guys. That and their pocket teching really slow. He really should have been a quicker help for them there. Or at least a bit more of a menace in the mid-game. To be fair though, if they got the turrets and they lasted longer, he might have been, you know, with the economy that he built up there, so. Maybe see if we can do one more. Where were we? Looks like there's another one, the same sort of people. 42 minutes on Space Mass. Yeah, let's do that. Hopefully it doesn't break. Right. Space Mass is always a fun one, and I love it when it looks like this, when you've got Minox right at the command center, because that is basically the Deliveroo of the GBG world. Getting straight onto that food there, beautiful. Just rally your workers onto them and make them bring the food in. And decent placement as well of the berries, or the food stockpile rather. So, it's almost the same team from last time, except we've swapped Kick for RVA. So RVA, Unholy, and Cal together. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know. I imagine the veteran players, you know, that watch these videos will know about what you can do on this map. But you start out with an air transport, and what you can do with that is you can effectively rush in T1 and build trooper recruits, which they're a very slow unit, but if you put them in an air transport, they're not too bad. And they're very difficult to deal with because they can just immediately load back into it. So you can get 5 trooper recruits in there and start to pick apart your opponents, especially at the food stockpiles. I have no idea if the developers actually intended that with this map, or it's just, you know, one of those sort of happy little accidents, but it's always been an interesting sort of dynamic, and this has always been a map that stayed in our sort of standard lists for a random map. And this map's always kept people honest as well, you know, from being greedy or anything like that. And particularly when you play games like 2v3 or 3v4, you always struggle on this map just because of the way that the economy works. It's almost like an even playing ground. It feels difficult in the early game to outplay your opponents, you know, with your own sort of macroing skill, just because of that added threat with the air transports, that kind of rush. I think the best way to deal with it is get to T2 really quickly and get just troopers out, but sometimes you're better to just fight fire with fire and transport rush them as well. So we're getting onto the carbon, definitely got a decent amount of food income. Got workers on the stockpile food, we got it on the Minox as well. Yeah, it's looking good. I think we're on the wing here with Cal once again, so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But RVA is their pocket there. They're having a little bit of strategy discussion saying that RVA is their stronger player, so we might see Kick maybe do a trooper rush himself, because it is technically viable from the pocket as well. So that would definitely be interesting. Kick's doing that actually. That's Lucidity this pocket, so Kick's got a trooper centre right there. I am not doing that. It looks like I'm getting farms out and I'm just playing legit. Imagine scouting Cal frequently to see if he's got a troop centre, if he's planning to do the rush, but it doesn't look like he is. It takes a wee while to get the resources. He sent out a Mountie. That's interesting. He's built a nursery. That is very big brain. Because if you look how far away his workers are from his command center. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Bit of a carbon investment, but that's definitely going to disrupt the fuck out of him. So being scout harassed here. I've got a troop center down, so I'm going to be rushing again. Cal seems to be a bit ahead of me here this time. He's got that power core going up. Not started mine, just about to. Almost T2. Is anyone T2 yet? No. This is just super good, this. So it's 3 workers just doing fuck all. Crazy. It gives you the illusion that you can need to turtle up as well rather than do trans rush or anything like that. So I'm the first one to T2 there, so although I'm behind in building the buildings, I'm a little bit ahead in that regard. About even with Carl there, if I get his second troop centre. Should work out okay. So it looks like Unholy, a lot of farms here, but these mounties as well, that's the added thing that you can do with this, is you can actually go and piss the pocket off as well. Get our pocket a little bit ahead. Definitely the MVP so far of this team. A lot of disruption. Scout harassing here, but it's kind of deserved because that's all Carl's doing to me. I've not forgotten about this though, I'm going to lose it. But I've got the troopers into the transport. It's technically worth doing because they can't be dealt with, so I can just move them. Unholy freaking out because he's actually being mounted in a map that had no nerfs. He didn't really have a preposition to build a nursery to unlock them. As I said, very big brain here. I like that. And RVA still being quite sort of turtleish there. Oh, he's finally got his troopers over. Using the transport, it's beautiful because it's just so annoying. How do you deal with it? You need to get like an anti-air trooper to chase it around. Kick is not too bad though because his economy is just sort of almost in one screen, so you shouldn't struggle too much. I'm doing the same to Cal, picking off a lot of workers there. He sort of left himself exposed by having a carbon here, just dance between the two. And he's also walling his units out as well, so it's going to slow him down moving around. Keeps them really defensive. They don't want to clean up your army and then just push on you. They have to sort of chase you around. And now we've got a second group as well, which is going to be really annoying. Probably send them there. Kick saying that he's pissed everyone off. He certainly bloody has with those Mounties. And we're just going to slowly pick apart Cal, because that's the best way to play this. Losing troopers a bit because of the pathing there, unfortunately. But he's not attacking us, right? And he's having to pull things around, so should technically be alright. Oh, he's snuck some troopers around though, and he's picked off, what, 5 workers? Probably 6 or 7 now, if he focuses. No, he's losing them there on the turret. Oh, that is big brain. Sent the troopers over and landed the other ones in front to take up the shots and mess up the sort of shooting volleys. Fortunately, he sent more troopers over. He's got that defender's advantage, but a decent little trade. But overall, I think we're a bit behind, you know, after doing all that. Though I do like our economy better. He looks healthier. So, Unholy is now getting strike mech'd because he's been slowed down by those Mounties. That's very good. So you can see that Kick's crazy sort of risk decision has really paid off because it's helped Lucidity get on top of Unholy there now, causing a lot of problems. Whereas RVA and Kick are just meeting in the middle of the map, going to one another's bases and trading units. There's only about 1 trooper left in this transport now, so it's not as much of a hindrance as it was, and he's got some anti-air out now as well, because he can afford it. But Unholy is having a bit of a bad time here. The problem with this is he's not gathering resources, and when these strikes start to go to the wings, he's not going to be able to help. So really well executed strategy here from Kick, and the follow-up from Lucidity is great as well. Red is dead, he says. Love that, rhymes. We send some troopers over, sniper worker. I think we're just sort of feigning that we're really committing to this much more anymore. Sure, they're going to be looking to go T3. This is horrible, because we've got nothing here to defend our carbon. What you normally want to do is build prefabs here, because it blocks units standing behind them. Cal winning via map screw, definitely on the carbon, but we can do better if we build prefabs here. So that air is going to clean this up, and there's not really going to be much you can do here. I might want to do the same if I could stand there. So he's looking to go T3 as well. We both will, really. We've not really outright killed one another. It's kind of about the same. Holy's still alive. He's still got quite a lot of workers on carb. He just needs to get his farms back on the go. But RVA is now sort of falling apart just because of those strike mechs. And just how far his resources are from his command center as well. And again, no fucking turrets. Build turrets. Nobody's building turrets except me. I've built a turret in each game. Build a turret. Like, there could be a turret here. Killing these. Fuck. And you have to run all the way. Pull these all the way over there. Hey, where's his units? So he's decided I'm going T3. I'm going to stop making troopers. Oh no. There's a lot of workers being chipped off there, so. Accidentally killed the transport. We used to keep throwing these workers around like a yo-yo. So we're going T3 now. We need to find a new bloody carbon spot. I don't even know where we would go. I guess there and there. Not the best. On this map you really need to get into the centre as quick as possible. You know, when I look at it now from an analytical sort of point of view. Because that's where the resources are. To be honest, if we look at that on the minimap, there's not a huge amount of carbon on the map. You wouldn't want to go in a serious late game on this, you would starve. Getting a bit of lag, unfortunately. Cal sending his troopers over. He's probably going to be T3 very soon, or is. Nothing to defend here. These units caught a bit off guard. They're sort of lollygagging over here, so I lost probably about 7 or 8 workers. Pathfinding, yeah. Bad times. They must have taken a really bad route. But anyway, we're T3 now. The pain's over. We can build strike mechs. We can upgrade our carbon. We can get more command centers and hopefully have a nice place to get carbon from. It looks like RV's stabilized a wee bit. No, he says he's still in a bad way. Unholy though, he's alright. It's just he's got about 80 turrets over here. Adventurous play from him. Cal's doing alright, but you want a command center there, right? And I'm going to start fucking throwing strike mechs at him now. The war never ends. It's the 100 years war between me and Cal. And I've brought some friends as well, so. It does have the anti-air troopers though. But this must be really frustrating to see. Because this could snowball really quickly. And he's going to struggle when he keeps pulling these workers off, because where's he going to get the carbon to get mech destroyers out? And if that anti-air goes down, those guys can come back in, right? Oh, and a fort as well. This pocket really is, he's been great both games. He's known exactly what to do. Decent player. Kind of reminds me of Attack or Die, to be honest. The way that he plays. It's a nice aggressive pocket that sends the right units and helps influence both sides. So that fort going up, we're going to reinforce it with our troops there. It's definitely a good way to play, to have your pocket build the sort of the pressure production there, and you reinforce it with the sort of attacking units. Simply because you're in the position to make those, but his economy a bit more advanced because he's been in T3 a bit longer, so he's going to have the extra resources to throw down a fort, the extra ore to get a shield generator, etc. Not really going to be much Cal can do here. Holy just started booming. He started walling out. He doesn't give a fuck. He fuck my teammates. He started sending units to help RVA. I think the strike mech has been here for about 15 minutes. It's finally gone down. I think one of those workers got the killing blow. Pressure galore here on top of Cal. He's throwing out some pummels and stuff. A lot of heavy weapons factories. There'll be artillery probably coming out here. It looks like he's going to build some mounties as well. I really like this player. Not really much Cal can do. He's boxed in. He's fucked. He's getting fuck all help. It's a strong Gondor calls for aid. There's a fort there. Yeah, that'll go well. Yeah, that's like the AI when you shoot them. Looks like they're going to be calling it there. But yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. It's a bit refreshing because it was Space Mass. But really great play showcase from Lucidity. He's done really well. And Kick with his big brain mounting move as well. That's what really made those players feel uncomfortable and stopped them from playing T3 the way they normally do. Because Unholy, instead of really knowing how to react to that, it's just sort of crying in the chat about it. A lot of damage going down. It's just Unholy left. He probably feels, you know, he should stay in, he can maybe do something, but it's probably just being a bit salty. Told him to get out. What he's doing instead is building forts and turrets, but there you go, he's quit. So yeah, that is what happened on the 25th of February 2013, which is technically also my birthday. So some cool games there. Really enjoyed that. As I said, I'll try and do more videos. I've got a new microphone now, so hopefully this sounds a lot better. But do leave some feedback in the comments there. We'll look to improve, you know, as things go on. As always, like, comment and subscribe. If there's anything that you would want to see out of the channel, feel free to leave that as a comment. I'll maybe like to make this at least like a weekly thing, you know, to get a video out, at least for the recorded games. And maybe potentially do like a campaign run or something, you know, because it's not something I've ever really properly done, despite playing this game for a very long time, since being a child. I know I did play the campaigns, but I'm pretty sure, like most of you, I was probably a cheating bastard who typed Skywalker and Simon Says and stuff. I did do the Wookiee one for a laugh at one point on hardest, and that was bizarre how difficult that actually is. And I can't imagine myself as a 12-year-old child doing that, or anyone. To be honest, even anyone that's half decent at the game, working out the way to win these legitly, because some of the things are just ridiculous. But we'll maybe give it a run and see how that goes as a series as well. Maybe make that a weekly release as well. So anyway, take care, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.